Hollywood, you look at stories and they take, Hollywood takes stories and they twist them to the Europeans' advantage. Like, for instance, the new movie Avatar. I know a lot of people probably haven't heard of the plight of the people of the Congo, where King Leopold from Belgium went over to the Congo in I believe it was 1901, and from 1901 to 1901 to 1904 or 5, they slaughtered 16. This is a figure that's a guesstimation, but it's a modest guesstimation. They slaughtered 16 million Africans over there. These are the Belgian people. King Leopold from Belgium slaughtered 16 million people over there to take the land, to establish a kingdom over there and territory and this and that. And you should hear the letter that King Leopold wrote to the Congolese people, saying that, look, I make no attempts at philanthropy. Basically, if y'all come in my territory, I'm going to shoot you. Kids, women, children, whatever. So he came over there and invaded their land, took their land, drew a line in the sand and said, look, this is my shit. You come over here, boom, you dead. And they did that because they had force and they had the power of the white supremacist structure behind them to be able to do that, because we were 3/5 of a human being. The Pope said it was all right to enslave us, so-and-so. So their view of us were we didn't matter anyway. They could trample over us and so-and-so and this and that and take whatever they wanted, because that was their mindset. And that's the mindset still today to some degree. You dig what I'm saying? In Hollywood, when you see Hollywood depictions of African Americans, it's always, we have an era of what they call blaxploitation. Superfly. Like I said, Cotton Comes to Harlem. You got Shaft. You got all these different characters. JD's Revenge. That's one of my favorites. One of my favorite blaxploitation movies, as they call it. So you have these different aspects of Hollywood and the expression of the Caucasoid view of how the black person is, and their commandeering of our character and our integrity, and their colonization of our image through Hollywood, and them putting us out in, like I said, in Germany in Hitler times, they had what they call propaganda films. And they showed and depicted the Jews over there in the most negative way possible that they could in the movie, so they can solidify in the minds of the German people, so to demonize the Jewish population over there. You dig what I'm saying? So it made it easy when the whole country turned a blind eye to what was going on, or claimed that they didn't know what was going on with the slaughter and the murder of the Jews over there. So today when you look at the movies and the disproportionate depiction of manly and womanly roles, it's just ridiculous. It's just crazy. You can look at movies from the 70s, from the 80s, and you can see what kind of movies that we had, what kind of movies that the black image was portrayed in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the 90s. It took a turn where we became, it didn't take a turn, but it was just like, we tried to get conscious in the 90s. We had Public Enemy, we had Spike Lee, we had people trying to get us out of this typecast that the Caucasoid psychology in Hollywood had put us in, and we had found ourselves caught in from way back from the 20s, from the advent of film, from one of the first films, Birth of a Nation. They didn't have no black people in it, but they had white people with black faces that were playing black people, and they depicted in that there was a black soldier trying to rape a white woman. And in that movie, the after showing that and the different connotations that was in there as it related to white and black and slavery and the releasing of the slaves and all that, the gun membership just shot up in this country. All the white people was paranoid when they saw that propaganda film, Birth of a Nation, and went out and bought guns because they got scared of black people. Something else interesting I saw on the History Channel, on one of these channels, was that the reason why the police in this country now, to this very day, carry such high caliber weapons like 9mm on their hip is because back in the day, they were giving black men cocaine pills to make them work harder and faster and longer when they were working on the docks and the shipping docks. So when the black men got off work, they would go to our prospective neighborhoods and go to our little gathering places, our juke joints, bars, or whatever. And if something broke, if something beef jumped off, and the police had to come, the police came and shot the, had to intervene with their guns, of course, with deadly force and shoot the black men. But the black men, the 38s or whatever they were shooting with, wasn't phasing them because they was coked up on the cocaine and this and that they were being given to work harder. So the caliber of the weapons became greater to stop the onslaught of the beastly black man, the Jim Crow, violent jungle bunny who was coming to attack. And we were extra, we were animal-like, so we were like superhuman. They didn't want to say that, but we were like superhuman, like animal strength. We were animals-like. So they had higher caliber weapons for us. So that's just a little tidbit I put out there. But just the depictions in Hollywood of the horror is my focus. Is like in the mind of, I just saw this movie called Splice, not just, but a few months ago. I saw this movie called Splice where they created, it was like a modern day Frankenstein, but it wasn't, they didn't have to go and dig up graves and cut off body parts, sew them together. They just did it nice and neatly with DNA, and they created this creature, woman, this gender bending thing that switched back and forth from man to woman, and so and so, and it was just a creature looking thing, and it was a part in the movie where the man was about to have sex with the damn thing. I mean, the thing had a tail. It looked like a gargoyle. You dig what I'm saying? But he fell into some trance with it and was about to have sex with it on the damn floor. You dig what I'm saying? Which goes back to historically where the Caucasoid had sex with animals. When you look at Greek statues, you look at Pan, the god of the forest and the keeper of the woods and all this shit. He's a half goat man with goat legs and horns, and he had sex with goats. I got some pictures of him having sex with a goat. And then in with his goat legs and horns and bare chest, he's seducing a young boy. This is Pan with his flute and this and that. So, these peculiar Caucasoid psychological images that come out in the movies. It's just a movie with Clash of the Titans, or The Lightning Thief, where they had it was a black dude in there who they made him into a Pan. He was a Pan, a half goat boy that now in Greek mythology. So it's just like you have all of these psychological images that are out there. My point is just the images that are coming out of the minds of the white America. How do we reconcile that, in relationship to the cruelty, the actual cruelty that was inflicted by white people and Caucasoids all across the planet in these horrific ways during slavery times? I mean, it's untold cruelty and things that were going on in slavery. They were lending us to, like, the Nuremberg trial. They had a trial on the Nuremberg trial. We didn't have a trial because whatever they did to us, it was okay because we were animals. 3/5 of a human being, so we didn't get a trial. We didn't get a war crimes trial from George Washington or from the so-called forefathers of this country. They weren't tried as They weren't tried as criminals in a Nuremberg trial. There was no such thing. So we never got any justice on that front as far as the physical and the experimentation that they did on the black people back then.